The next part is full of stuff I don't understand at all. Yeah, this is special. This is a watch unlike any other. It is the full gold Rolex Cosmograph Daytona with meteorite dial. The Daytona is arguably the world's most wanted watch. It's sporty, it is expressive, and it has the perfect pedigree. Now with a watch this famous, it is very hard to tell you anything you don't know yet. But I would still like to give you a little bit of background. The Rolex Daytona was introduced in 1963 as the unofficial successor of the reference 6234, and it was not a great success for the first decades. The current status as the most wanted watch in the world is the consequence of quality, accuracy, persistence, and some luck. It has had dozens of world-famous fans for over 50 years, and some very expensive pieces were sold in auctions, further propelling the mythical status of the name Daytona. A couple of years ago, I actually made the rookie mistake of asking Rolex where the name Cosmograph came from. Their answer was pretty clear: we don't communicate on that. That does leave some room open for interpretation. Could it be they initially planned to make a moon face with it like they did on other models? Were they inspired by the space race of the 60s, or did they want to appeal to NASA? The same sort of educated guessing applies to the name Daytona. Before it came out, an ad called it the Rolex Le Mans, but this was corrected and never really mentioned again. Was it a rights issue? Did Daytona sound better? What we do know is that Rolex officially became the sponsor of the Daytona racetrack in 1962 before the watch officially got the name. And ever since, the Daytona has become the watch within the racing world. If you love Formula 1 as much as I do, you might have noticed that nearly everyone who's not on a contract wears a Daytona. But however exciting all of that is, this video is about this watch, and this watch is not about the history, it is about the future. Because the future, that is what Rolex thinking is all about. If you look closely at the philosophy of this company, you will see it always looks forward. This philosophy has been like this forever. When their headquarters opened in 1965, they wrote in an ad, "It is not monumental, because it's for the future and not for the past." And that's the same with this watch. Take for example the movement. It is the in-house developed and made automatic chronograph that is so accurate Rolex called it a superlative chronometer. Its precision is within -2 + 2 seconds per day, which is much less than the usual COSC rules for chronometer certification, although it's independently tested there as well. It has a column wheel and vertical clutch, and the movement is fitted with a parachrome hairspring, which is a paramagnetic alloy that makes it up to 10 times more precise than traditional hairspring in cases of shocks. And having seen with my own eyes how much effort Rolex actually puts into these quality checks, it really is safe to say that this watch is made to last more than a lifetime. It is made to last for infinity. And from the outside, the watch is just as impressive. Both the case and the bracelet are made of solid yellow gold, all made in Rolex's own foundry in Geneva. Once again done with an own alloy that will look this good forever. But surprisingly, that's not the most mesmerizing part of this watch. Now what really intrigues me about this watch is so special I actually had to wear my geography teacher's shirt to explain it. Because the next part is full of stuff I don't understand at all. The mesmerizing shapes on the dial are called Wittmann-Steffen pattern, which is formed over millions of years. They are figures of long nickel-iron crystals and consist of an interleaving of chamosite and tennite bands or ribbons called lamellae. Tennite and chamosite are alloys of iron and nickel, and if this cools down during millions of years, it will form this chamosite, a natural creation so special it can't be made in a laboratory. This very special pattern becomes visible when the meteorites are cut, polished and treated with chemicals such as acid and then washed and dried. And to me, that's just magic. And honestly, one of the most impressive things Rolex does is these dials. And when I saw how they were made in Cherbourg, I actually knew how much effort they are putting in it. And this really is the top one. And by the way, if you have not already done so, please do like, subscribe, follow and leave your comments, because I'm so curious about what you guys are thinking. Now, some people will call this watch garish, and in the first instance they might be right. But that judgment doesn't do justice to the amount of craftsmanship that goes into it, and the bizarre idea of having a piece of cosmos around the wrist. Prices start at 30,950 euros and go up to 41,250 euros. Normally at this point in the video, I would ask you a very silly question and then introduce my even sillier machine. But I'm not going to do that this time. First of all, because you guys asked me to show less of my face and more of watches. And second of all, because this watch is so special, it deserves more than just a silly machine called the chronometer. What it deserves is this. Now, to be really honest with you, I wasn't planning to do a shoot on this watch at all, because I'm not a big fan of big flashy watches, and I'm not that much of a Rolex fanboy either. But when I had this watch on the wrist, it made me feel so special, and it made me realize that this really is one of the most intriguing watches I have ever seen. When I saw it on the wrist for the first time, it really felt like I was hit by a meteorite. Pictures absolutely don't do justice to what you're seeing in real life when wearing this Daytona. The dial has such a beautiful play of the light, but what makes it so special is the absolutely crazy idea of having a billion years of old piece of cosmos around the wrist. A meteorite from infinity on a watch made for infinity. Now that is definitely worthy of a crown. Period. Are you as crazy about watches as I am? Then please do like, subscribe, leave your comments, and see you next time.